Hi everyone, McBeard here, back with one final Crimson Cruse reveal video for you. It's been a wild ride. I've really enjoyed this Gwent spoiler season, and with the announcement that there's going to be many expansions to come as they some of that news came out, on top of also mobile Gwent also breaking today. Obviously, there's tons of stuff to talk about, but this will be news for the podcast on Friday. How about that? We'll talk a little bit about that. There's going to be tons to talk about. This is just a crazy time for Gwent. Mobile, I mean, just give it to me. Anna Henrietta was revealed today as a new leader, and also I'm going to be going through the last couple of cards that I didn't get on video for the reveal. But I wanted to talk about Anna Henrietta to start things off. So here we see the new Nilfgaard Leader finally being previewed. We now know 4 of the leaders. Detlaff is not revealed, and I'm pretty sure at this point in the day, Detlaff will not be revealed today. It'll be coming with the new patch that'll be hitting probably noon European time. So I'm gonna get up around like 6 o'clock in the morning just in case, and I'll be ready to go because we're gonna do some play. But Detlaff won't be the only juicy piece, of course. We are going to be getting a patch, and I don't think Gwent has ever patched the game without making a number of changes to gameplay, speed of game, mechanics, visual effects. I mean, we saw in the gameplay video, Drowner had a new visual effect, so we can assume that if the Drowner had a new effect, anything water-based has that same effect, and there could be tons more. And we know that there's a bunch of new mechanics we can already expect, that bleeding and vitality is going to have some pretty cool effects. So there's going to be just so much to talk about, but let's just start with what we had. Anna Henrietta is your new Nilfgaardian leader. She has 15 provision points, and she has the order, single use, create and play a card from your opponent's hand. Much like Usurper, and much like some of the mechanics that Nilfgaard has had in the past that may be considered not that fun, I've always felt like Nilfgaard has always owned the unfun aspect of Gwent, and also to the point that they've somehow made unfun fun, especially when they're adding new interesting ways to create things from outside of your deck. This is a create card that is actually controlled and very interesting, and you know, just generally there are unfun things about Nilfgaard. This is a fun, comfortable deck, I would say, because Anna has a passive ability that you don't see. The passive ability is force your opponent to play suboptimally, because what Anna can do is look at your opponent's hand, 3 cards in your opponent's hand, and play the best one out of the hand as well. So if Anna is already playing an Assimilate deck, and she might already have a bunch of units already on the board that actually can synergize with cards in your hand, that's one thing. But if it's just looking at sheer value cards like Spear Tip, Young Spear Tip, you know, a Geralt of Rivia or a Leo Bonhart that actually has condition met, perhaps a tech, perhaps a combo piece that if you used it first, like, I know Glusty Warp is being thrown around, but I mean, you'd never set up a Glusty Warp in front of Anna. You just wouldn't do it. But there are probably other things that could perhaps capitalize, like perhaps you have shields and your opponent is playing King Ragnar, and you actually can pop a shield or 2. That's actually pretty good value in round 3 when you're probably playing this. And when you play it is definitely going to be important. So like, at what point does it become very uncomfortable to play against Anna? 5 cards round 3, maybe trying to bleed round 2. I think there's lots of really cool stuff that Anna can do. Plus, it's a really cool single-use ability for Damien de la Tour to refresh. I've seen some opinions. Some people have been weighing in on this leader, actually thinking that it has the potential to be the strongest Nilfgaard leader, not necessarily because the ability is overly strong, but because the ability is powerful enough that it could actually elevate her to that spot. Moligian from Team Aretuza, that you know from Gwent Open number 8, he believes that it will it'll be over Ardal. I'm not sure if she'll be over Ardal, because I think that his ability is stronger than Anna's. That's the only thing. The rest of the ranking, Morvran being in the middle of the pack, Usurper being the bottom because it's not fun, and also you build the worst deck with him, and Emir maybe just at this point, from what we know, seems like he needs a little love. So Anna and Ardal actually standing at the top of the heap, but Morvran is also still quite good. It's just this ability is nothing to sneeze at, and Ardal's ability with the extra tactics, possibly creating a formidable 8-tactic deck, but definitely easily creating a 4-tactic deck. Easy 4-point steal that improves your board. However, with Assimilate, Ardal actually has a different deck as well. There is an Assimilate list with Ardal because Ardal already is kind of playing around the idea of taking things off your board, taking things that aren't his. So in true Nilfgaardian fashion, Anna's doing the same thing. I think this is a great leader. I think all 4 leaders that we've seen are fantastic. Competitive, the jury's going to be out on that. fantastic, flavorful, interesting for deck building, interesting for mind games like this one. Hopefully Detlaff can just round this out as just an absolutely impressive expansion from a card pool standpoint. Very, very few cards I have felt have been not necessary, bad, or filler cards. So I will talk about a couple of those right now, though, but I will just say Anna, Henrietta, damn, you guys did a great job on the leaders. And the models are looking so good, despite what you might think about what people are saying on Reddit. You know, you look at Reddit a little bit closer, there's only like 5 people there, guys. It's only 5-6 people. Come on. But I've got a couple of more things just to quickly talk about here. The Taverna de Rivia was able to preview this card that I didn't get a chance to talk about. This is the Ducal Guard. This is the Assimilate engine similar to the Dryad Fledgling, but it's coming in for Nilfgaard. People think that this card is not very good, and I agree. However, I agree only about this card. I think that the Dryad Fledgling is absolutely fine, considering Waters of Broccolon is actually a thing. What I will say is that I think Nausicaa Sergeant and this card put together make a great bronze core for Portal. That is the one thing I will say about this card, that Nilfgaard probably has the best Portal deck, being able to pull the Nausicaa Sergeant and this card at any time and in any order that you would probably want. Additionally, Artorius Vigo, which I will cover soon, can create another one of these cards or another Nausicaa Sergeant, you know, or any other bronze card that you want that's decent, as kind of like another sort of Necro situation where Artorius Vigo is also an Assimilate, and he can create an Assimilate target as well in a 1-strength Ducal Guard. I think that the Assimilate deck is looking like it's going to have, if you want to run Ducal Guard, it's going to have 2 Ducal Guards, 2 Diviners, Artorius Vigo, and perhaps what Artorius Vigo creates. If you want to run Operator, that's a different story. Now you have more options as well. Ardal can bring it over onto his side. So it's possible. I originally thought that there weren't going to be enough engines for Assimilate, but I just think that it's going to take a little bit more deck building savvy. I don't think Harmony has the same problem. I think a lot of the Harmony units are fantastic, and Waters of Broccolon is really strong. Let's just blaze through these ones real quick. This is the Oxenford Scholar, 4 provision, 3 strength, give an allied unit vitality for 2 turns, and then his foil, the Cutthroat, which is a 4 provision, 3 strength unit that is giving an enemy unit bleeding for 2 turns. These cards are neutral cards that have new mechanics on them, and they're just kind of, these I would say are filler cards. I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying that these are neutral cards that just kind of expand the mechanic a little bit more and just fill out the set. Not filling out kegs, but just filling out the set. You make new mechanics, you're going to want to put it on a couple of extra cards. You know, just in case you have a unit, you know, just in case you have things that really lean on this. And look at Oriana. Oriana cares about the number of bleeding. You know, if you actually wanted to, let's say you needed to build a Shoop bleeding deck. Yeah, you would consider this guy. So he's still something, right? And he's a human. That matters to Drog. My boy Gulo ×2, Gulo, the self-appointed king of Skellige, is very upset about how these Nilfgaardian assassins are ruining Skellige tourism. Fangs of the Empire, a 4 provision point, 3 strength Nilfgaard unit. Deploy, give an enemy unit poison. I will say that this reveal was puzzling to me, because nothing else that Nilfgaard has seems to care about poison, which is, you know, normally not that huge of a deal, because we see that there is a little bit of bleeding in Skellige, but they also have cards that care about damaged units on the board. And bleeding doesn't need another instance of bleeding to get value, which poison does. So this card was super confusing. This card just seems like really out of place. I'm not going to say that there's going to be a really easy deck to build around this, but I will say that if I was building an Assimilate deck, maybe a Shoop deck or not, but if I was building an Assimilate deck, I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of running one of these guys, just because in some matchups, I'd probably run a Devil's Puffball as well, because you might as well run 2 instances of poison. But in some matchups like scoia'tael, if you're playing the Imperial Diplomacy and you're creating a unit from your opponent's faction, you will find poison cards. I don't know if this argument holds water, but I'm saying that if there are ways to find poison cards, you would like to have some sort of way to finish them off. But probably there's just better ways to get value. All right, 2 final reveals today that will be capping off Crimson Cruse Eve. This is Artorius Vigo, revealed by the Great Dandelion Show on his Gwent Funny Moments, episode 104. He's been doing this a long time, and I know that because I have been around for a while as well. So the people that stick around, I see you, Great Dandelion Show, and I make a little cameo in this video as well. So I'll just quickly talk about this, though. Artorius Vigo is a 2 strength, a 9 provision point, 2 strength Nilfgaard card With Assimilate, on deploy, create and play a 1-power copy of a bronze unit from your starting deck. So if that card is an engine, Artorius Vigo is a double engine play, which is great. Every faction should have one of these because Neckers have been around for too long. Waters of Brokilon is out. Artorius Vigo is here. Neckers never went anywhere. Also, there's ways to make numerous copies of cards in Northern Realms. It's like a nice controlled create. Now, does it matter about duplicates? This I don't know. So you can get an Assimilate engine perhaps, or you can get an extra something else. And but you play it, so it's all about that deploy effect, right? So you get the extra deploy effect from a bronze copy, which is really important because that means you could get an extra lock with Alba, you could get an extra engine, obviously, or you could get an Emperor Brigade, which will pull the other 2 from your deck. It is confirmed, even though the tooltip doesn't actually suggest it. This card's probably really, really good, and definitely something that Assimilate needed to see. Because this actually means that this is 1 to 2 more Assimilate engines, possibly at the same time. Or you're creating a Nausicaa Sergeant, probably, because you're probably running Nausicaa Sergeant in an Assimilate deck, because all these are great deploy effects. Additionally, the Duchess Informant could also, if you're playing Operator and you Duchess Informant, you can turn the Duchess Informant unit into the unit that you put on your opponent's board, which could be a Ducal Guard, which means that you actually get 2 engines, plus you also trigger both of the engines because you play Duchess Informant. The well goes very, very deep with Assimilate. Maybe I am under-evaluating it. I actually think that I might be. But we'll be trying it out tomorrow. I want it. And the final card, Bittersweet, the final card will be a beautiful neutral card with amazing artwork, a 7 provision special card called Tempest, revealed by our wonderful, fantastic, I can't say enough good, positive things about Paul Berja. I love this man, and he got the chance to reveal the final card for Crimson Cruse, and a fitting card indeed. Berja translates to Storm. This is why Pavko Gale is his in-Gwent persona. So of course he is revealing a Storm card. This is Tempest. Purify 3 adjacent enemy units and damage them by 2. But if you're playing against boost or you're playing against shields, you will be able to just kind of smash a lot of this strategy at once. And specifically if there is a big vitality deck, I think that this is really gonna hurt that deck. Purifying a unit and damaging by 2 probably won't kill most shielded things. So I think that this is going to be very meta dependent. Unlike something like White Frost, I think that this is actually costed very well to start. I think White Frost was overpriced at first. So I think that the fringe applications where this card is really going to get you value are going to be, we don't really know how high those are going to be, but at least you get 6 damage on a row stack situation, and you'll easily knock out Gurnikora Necker combination and stuff like that. Like, there's lots of places where this is probably going to be good. In the same slot, you're running Ericus Venom, which definitely cares about killing the unit it originally hits. This one gets the damage regardless, plus you get extra value off of knocking off Vitality. But I think that this card is probably going to see fringe play in techs, in solutions to odd things that are involving protecting a unit. But at 2 damage, I don't know how much disruption this is really going to offer. That's it, my friends. That's all the reveals. There are only a couple more things left. That's all the changes that are coming in the patch. And Detlaff, I believe I got every other card out of the way. This has been a fantastic spoiler season. I love you guys. This is YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the content, show me, tell your friends too. And I'll see you for Crimson Cruse tomorrow, live on stream. Believe me, I have a lot of things I want to test out. 10 decks at least to start things out. 5 new leaders, 5 old leaders, and new concepts. I can't wait. I'm going to go to bed right now. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.